We got Bible study at 3:30 during the snack period. And y'all think it's going to determine me hitting this. I'm trying to tell you. All right, who going to Bible study?
Jameis Winston is a special person.
When people say it's some indication of what's happening to you at camp, what do you, say about that?
The fake anger, may say, or choice words after losing to your buddies.
He was messing around with his boys. We do sort of owe an apology there, but that's not really the main criticism that he's up against.
Even if it's fake, that's what a lot of people see on Sundays even.
Also, you're the starting quarterback. You shouldn't be losing that competition. I feel bad. A lot of experts are saying this is Anthony Richardson's fault. This was a mental mistake.
I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate. Steichen's up here, AR's down here, and they just kind of need to meet in the middle. Granted, that it's kind of day one install stuff, so you gotta hope your quarterback is ready to make the right calls, make the right reads in situations like this, because it's only going to hurt him. Literally did.
This is the age of every projected starting quarterback. See Anthony Richardson right there. He's 23 years old. Granted, some other guys who are in that same age range that are doing just fine. People freaking out about Ashton Jeanty. He had 3 carries for -1 yard. And I'll tell you, my whole timeline was filled up with, dude, bust.
Yeah, clearly Ashton did not hit the smelling salts. So, like I said, he's just going on natural, warming up.
Gotta get somebody on that Raiders squad to provide him, not the team, a teammate to provide him the smelling salts. Who knows if he's actually serious about this or if this is just another Marshawn Lynch side quest. But we have seen some great athletes get into photography. Thinking of Randy Johnson, and then I'm also thinking of Ken Griffey Jr., who did have the iconic photo of Rory at the Masters this year. And the ties are for Europe, dude. In America, we declare a winner and a loser.
Nobody likes this. Preseason, if you're really worried about injuries, let's end in like crossbar competition with the quarterbacks. The first guy to hit the crossbar from 40 yards out, winner.
American football royalty, and I'm talking, of course, about the Manning family. Being the starting quarterback at Texas, and everyone's saying, oh, he's going to be the #1 pick next year. Well, Archie Manning says that his grandson Arch will not declare for the 2026 NFL draft. He says Arch isn't going to do that. He'll be at Texas. We kind of bashed on Caleb Williams a little bit. It's kind of the hot thing to do right now. Caleb Williams is probably the most scrutinized quarterback, or one of the most scrutinized quarterbacks in the NFL right now in this preseason. And we've explained why, and it's probably pretty justified. But one of the things that we were really scrutinizing was this drill where they throw the balls into the net to try and get it into the hole, and he missed, and then he stomped off pouting. And we've got a press conference or a press moment here of him addressing that. Didn't I said, I think he's got to be faking this, right? Like this can't be a real behavior. So we did say that. So let's play this and see what we make of it.
There's this video. And I think
it's hilarious.
Some natural places, I think
they blew it up, and it is what it is.
What happened in the video?
So it's a quick deliver drill. So you catch it. You're not trying to get the laces or anything. It's not like you're going through reads, and it's just catch, deliver, and try and deliver to the bottom left corner. And we're trying to aim as if it's a screen, and so it's a competition between us and the guys, and so how fast you can get it out, how accurate you can get it out, and they just so happen to blow that one up and not any other one. So it's a fun drill to work on accuracy, not using the laces, and also just being getting your feet up under you and working those throws.
So when people say it's some indication of what's happening to you at camp, what do you say about that?
I just laugh at it. It's I look at them and I laugh at them as always. We're out here working. We're getting after it. We're competing, and that's one of the drills that we were competing. And we actually have a rule in our QB room is that if you miss the board, you have to do something funny or something like that, or miss the net. You have to do something funny. So we've had some competition, in those areas also. So it's just something fun, something competitive. And I was competing, and it was I missed it, and it was a fake anger that I had that I showed because. That's what you're competing with your friends, and something like that happens. You give a little, maybe a little, a few words that you may say or choice words after losing to your buddies.
He was messing around with his boys. Okay, so I think we do sort of owe an apology there, but that's not really the main criticism. I think that is, or that he's up against. I mean, this is sort of understandable. You just mess around with your boys. It does look the way it looks, but there are still legitimate things to criticize.
Yes, we should have pumped the brakes on that reaction, but I think the reaction was what it was, is because even if it's fake, that's what a lot of people see on Sundays, even, and what you do. And is that fake anger? Is that like, is that just messing around? I mean, it's in a competitive nature, or it's in a competitive environment in those games, and it's real. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, we see it when it matters. It's happening in every scenario. So I get it that this was a joke.
Yeah.
I get it. There was definitely a pile on that occurred. And we talked about like camp being the place that you get mistakes out of the way, you get all that kind of stuff battened up. But at the end of the day, I think it still stands. If it's happening in practice, in friendly competition, and it's happening in real competition, then it's kind of like, well, we don't know what's fake. Is that stuff fake?
Also, you're the starting quarterback. You shouldn't be losing that competition. Okay. You shouldn't be losing the backups. And so you shouldn't have to put on the fake anger performance, because you should be winning that. You're the starting quarterback. You were the number 1 draft pick. Okay. So we are getting it. We did have preseason games start last night. Woohoo, wave the flags. But quickly before we go into that, can you put this up, dude, of what it takes to watch NFL football this year? Because there are so many subscription services that you need to look at this. Okay. That if you want to watch every NFL game, it'll cost you over $1,000 a year. All of these different streaming services. It is $1,171.64 to be exact. Pretty wild here. What do you make of all this, dude? It's just like, pretty soon they're going to bundle it all together, and it's just going to go back to regular old TV cable. You're just going to have one.
Yeah, there was just an announcement. I believe it was Disney Plus and Hulu are now creating a combined platform, singular platform that they're going to put together here really soon. And it's just like, okay, that's just another version of cable. So what? It's Ouroboros, where we all circle back. It's the snake eating its own tail sort of thing going on here. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is NFL doing business.
Did you see the recent quote from Goodell that said, our competition is not the NBA and the MLB. Our competition is Google and Apple.
Yeah.
And like seeing this right here, this kind of really supports that. It's like, yo, you are really getting into this, like, I don't know, just a different stratosphere on the business side of things. It's like, could be so simple. But they are just becoming such an entity, dude. Like, I mean, I think it's fair to say that that's really they're so far ahead of those other sports leagues. It's like, all right, let's compete with tech companies now.
Yeah. They're like the. I mean, it's actually probably a bad comparison, but I was going to say they're like the Uber of the sports league, where they don't have to broadcast this. They have everybody else coming to them. So the inventory is strictly just the game, and then everybody comes to them to take it. So like they're just operating on that platform, and maybe that's why he's making that claim that he's up against tech delivery services.
Well, then, because also like what was it? Amazon paid $1 billion just for 17 games, and I think Apple is in the conversation for that. And it's like, also they did the one on Peacock?
Yeah,
I think they did one on Peacock, and it was something crazy. It was like 250 million for one I don't. That might not be the right figure, but it was something absurd like that. You're like, whoa, how does this make business sense for Peacock to license this game? But somehow, so I don't know, dude. Just get ready to shell out a bunch of money if you want to watch every single NFL game. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into a little bit of the preseason stuff, dude. I feel bad. Dude. Anthony Richardson. This was the clip going around most viral from first preseason game last night. Okay, and it's Anthony Richardson. This is in the first quarter, just getting not blindside sack. Sorry, that's from the front side, unblocked. And then he breaks his pinky or dislocates his pinky. I mean, there's images of it, and his pinky is literally like perpendicular.
90 degrees,
90 degrees out. The thing is, a lot of experts are saying this is Anthony Richardson's fault. He was clearly should have thrown into the blitz, should have hit the back right there in the flat, should have known that he was hot, and this was a mental mistake and his own fault. And it's just tough, dude, because this is a guy who's in a quarterback competition with Daniel Jones. Granted, that's a pretty depressing quarterback competition with Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. You're a former quarterback, Scott. What do you make of this and the quarterback not picking this up and realizing like this mental error here?
Yeah, this is kind of like day one install stuff. So it's really interesting to see this happen so far into camp in the first preseason game. The thing is, though, is like, so you can point blame, and as a former player, you want to say, and a former quarterback, you want to say it's the quarterback's fault. You want to take onus of the offense just not performing, right? Because as a leader of the offense, you usually do that. That's what you should do. But there's also a point here where we all know that AR is essentially a rookie. Like, he obviously had those problems last year, tapping his helmet, getting out. Like, he's clearly learning the ropes of what it means to be an NFL quarterback and a leader in the NFL and a leader of an organization. You know, I think the question is like, because he hasn't had as much playtime and as much experience, and it's just been more camp oriented and then off-season stuff, is it fair to put all of the pressure schematically on him in this moment, preseason game one, all of that kind of stuff?
Dude, but I don't know, man. That can't be that much pressure, dude. It's like, I never played quarterback, and I know, throw into the blitz, dude. Just get rid of it. Live to fight another day.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Can you open this up here? I have this highlighted because we're talking about Anthony Richardson, talking about his inexperience. And I do think it's interesting because you do make a good point there. It's crazy to see his age, because this is the starting, this is the age of every projected starting quarterback. You see Anthony Richardson right there. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
And you see the other quarterbacks there that are also 23. Granted, some other guys who are in that same age range that are doing just fine. Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. Wow, CJ Stroud is 23 also.
It's incredibly young, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's, it's what do you make of this? Do you give him?
I only bring that up because I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate. Like,
okay,
fairly new scheme. Steichen, he's an offensive guru and genius. So there may be an expectation that he's coming in that may be unrealistic for the at least game knowledge. Like, those things aren't matching yet. So maybe there needs, like, Steichen's up here, AR's down here, and they just kind of need to meet in the middle. Granted, like I said, it's kind of day one install stuff. So you gotta hope that your quarterback is ready to shift protection or to make the right calls, make the right reads in situations like this, because it's only going to hurt him. Literally did.
Literally did hurt him. Literally hurt him.
So it's like, I get it. He's young, but at the same time, learning curve in the NFL needs to be almost vertical.
Yeah, dude. I understand you're trying to give him a little grace here, but hey, we're being harsh on Caleb. And, I think we have higher standards for Caleb and we have higher expectations for him, but also Anthony, I don't know, man. Maybe who knows? I mean, I don't even know if he was going to win. I don't think he was going to win that starting quarterback job anyway. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the man there. You pull this up, our boy Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, did get in there. He's presumably the third string quarterback. Not great throwing it, but did take off a little bit here.
This is reminiscent of the national championship. Had an insanely good first drive, used his legs, got mobile, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully his endurance is at a higher level here. Could have used him for the rest of the game, but I feel for him a little bit in that he's going into a quarterback room that I wouldn't say has the most experience. I know Danny Dimes has some experience, and he's played and he has that veteran status now, but it's been tumultuous. It's all that kind of stuff. So it really depends on how Danny sort of takes on his evolution as a player and as a leader, as to how at least Riley or even AR can learn how to develop themselves as a leader and an NFL quarterback.
Right. I think it is so interesting when you look at, like, some of these rookie guys, what quarterback room they get into. Like Will Howard, he's with the Steelers. He's got Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome guy to kind of, I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't necessarily see himself as a mentor, but you're going to pick stuff up, and he's going to be pretty good for those young quarterbacks.
Well, I would say Aaron learned, because I think Brett Favre in the Enigma documentary that we had of Aaron recently, I think Brett Favre took the approach of not wanting to be a mentor per se.
Yes.
Like, it was just like, I'm here to do my job and to continue to win and to continue to sling the ball around the field. Like, if he wants to learn from that, awesome. But I'm not going to sit him down and, like, talk him through these things, because, one, it's my job. Two, I'm not going to train the guy underneath me to take my job. And then, so, like, I think Aaron, he tries, or at least he said in that show that he tries to be more of a mentor, more of, like, the, hey, like, arm over the shoulder kind of thing
Fair.
with some of the guys. So maybe will have a steep learning curve because Aaron is more open to doing that for younger guys.
True. That's fair. You're right. I did forget about that in Enigma because
Yeah.
I actually remember thinking, oh man, Aaron is basically trying to be like, I don't want to be how Brett Favre was to me because I think he was pretty good to Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Green Bay. Speaking of Colts, though, at least Tyler Warren, their tight end out of Penn State, he looked pretty solid, dude. I mean, I think people are talking about him and Brock Bowers are sort of that new generation of tight end, possibly. I mean, I know that's pretty early to talk about it, but he did look pretty solid there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we have a couple of these. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
he
he
had
had 3 receptions.
It's funny. He looks smaller in his NFL uniform than he did. Like he looked huge at Penn State to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just white on white.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. He does kind of look. He looks sleeker. Let's put it that way. Maybe he trimmed down a little bit. Yeah.
Looks like a trimmer.
But also he's going against the all-star guys of the past decade in college football. So those guys are all massive now too. But he looked really good. For how much of a debacle it felt or what I can imagine it felt for Colts fans last night. This is a shining light in the same way that, you had Brock Bowers last year for the Raiders be that shining light during a tumultuous time. Like, wow, you got a guy here. I think you got
whatever
a serious
average
player.
Quarterback is going to be starting for the Colts. Tyler Warren is going to be a good target for you.
Yeah.
We're poking fun here at the Colts in their quarterback situation, but here you go. You got the Browns tonight. Tonight, yeah. Sheduer starting tonight. What do you think, dude? How you feeling? I'm so curious to see how he does. There's so much anticipation around Sheduer. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm holding like any sort of expectation, right? I don't want to go into it being like, oh, he's gonna suck it up and just prove the haters right. But I'm most curious because I keep talking about Caleb and leadership and like all of that kind of stuff. I'm really curious to see how he handles it in that moment because I would say, even though he's been part of the media narrative and everything like that, and as I've been talking about, the media loves to have him in headlines because it gets clicks. Yeah. I would say he's actually dialed it back a little bit compared to what it was while at Colorado. Yeah. I just want to see how he leads the team in these first couple drives, how he comports himself, when things go right and or wrong. Like, I don't want him doing anything like Johnny Manziel after a first touchdown in the NFL, doing like the Money Manziel stuff. It's just like, honestly, just hand the ball, go celebrate with your teammates.
Dude, I want to see
and walk away.
I want to see some grown-up, boring poise from Sheduer. That's what I want to see. I want to be like, oh, that was good, and he was pretty mild in his antics. That's what I want to see from Sheduer. Hey, what did you make of people freaking out about Ashton Jeanty? He had 3 carries for -1 yard. And I'll tell you, my whole timeline was filled up with, dude, bust. I just thought this was one of the most ridiculous things ever because 3 carries, and it's like Barry Sanders couldn't have done anything with what this offensive line was giving him. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, even from the standpoint of getting warmed up at an end of first quarter, he got 3 carries in that entire time. The dude it's his first NFL gameplay experience. He's not warmed up. Clearly the offensive line was working through some stuff. I don't know if we have any clips here right now to show, but there was pressure in the backfield very quickly, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I should be giving to Caleb, but at the same time, this is a different position. So different expectation.
No, Caleb, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt because he has all these things in place. Okay. And I stand by that.
Yes,
we do have this. This that I just highlighted right here, you see how he actually like broke a tackle in the backfield. If we throw this up here, look. First of all, he makes the first guy miss in the backfield who just came in free. It's just like, dude, what do you like? Good, he broke a tackle. He looked good right there, and then the offensive line got blown up 4 yards in the backfield. Silly to try and like overanalyze a single play right here, but it's like, what can you do? Could he bounce outside right there? I don't know. I don't know. But I just think I just saw so many of those. And I was like, guys, chill out. Yeah. It would be one thing if it was like maybe 12 carries for 9 yards or whatever. Yeah. It's like 3 carries, dude. Like you watch some of the best you watch like Christian first 3 carries sometimes in a game. And it's like -8 yards. It's like, sometimes that's just what's going on.
Yeah, clearly Ashton did not hit the smelling salts. So, like I said, he's just going on natural, warming up, and he only got 3 carries. So it's like you can only do so much.
Got to get somebody on that Raiders squad to provide him, not the team, a teammate to provide him the smelling salts. Dude, this I thought, dude, okay, so that's some negativity. Can you do this? Can you pull up this Jameis thing right here? This man, all right. We make of whatever we make of the Giants quarterback room. The Jameis Winston is a special personality. Let's let this audio fly.
The crossbar, then walkthrough's done tonight. Hey,
Can we phone a friend?
Don't negotiate with me, Dexter. All right, Jameis is up.
Hey, but I do want to tell y'all we got Bible study at 3:30 during the snack period. And y'all face is gonna determine me hitting this. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all already know. All right, who going to Bible study? Who going to Bible study?
Based on the way the guys cheered him on at the end there,
dude, they love him.
He's beloved. Yeah,
That
beloved.
dude is like a locker room glue guy. And yeah, maybe he throws 28 interceptions when he starts a whole season, but he's got some. He's like a one-of-one personality right there.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting his teammates to Bible study. Dude, I thought this was cool. So Marshawn Lynch was on the sideline for the Raiders Seahawks game as an accredited photographer. Okay, and if you pull this up, the running back, who was it? I don't even know who it was. It was one of the Seahawks the Seahawks running back comes out of bounds, and Marshawn protects the camera and just shoulders him right there. I just thought this is classic. This is iconic Marshawn Lynch right here. So one, that's really cool. But two, this also brought me to I think this is interesting, seeing former players get into photography. And who knows if he's actually serious about this or if this is just another Marshawn Lynch side quest. But we have seen some great athletes get into photography after their career. I'm thinking of Randy Johnson, and then I'm also thinking of Ken Griffey Jr., who did have the iconic photo of Rory at the Masters this year. And it's like that photo. You remember that photo came out? Everyone's like, damn, this photo is awesome. And then 2 days later, it came out oh yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. took that photo. So what do you make of that, of athletes getting into this, and also Marshawn's antics here?
He didn't back down at all. You usually see it's the parting of the Red Sea whenever a player's coming with all the cameramen. They're just this is awesome. I love Marshawn, man. But yeah, you're right. All of the former players getting into the photography element of things, because we even saw it with Stipe Miocic, the former UFC heavyweight title holder at the Cleveland Browns. He's a Cleveland dude. He's going to camp, doing all of the photography and everything like that. He's messing around with Myles Garrett and all that kind of stuff, which is crazy because Myles makes him look small. Granted, he's not in fighting shape, but anyway, we're seeing these guys, and I think there's something to it because they love their sport clearly to such a high degree, and they were at the pinnacle. I think it's because there's something about photography and capturing the beauty in a single frame in a single moment. These guys understand how beautiful, the cliche of it's a beautiful game across all the sports. I think that's what it is.
There is something that, because I did videography for a football team in the ELF my first year after retiring. And it's a little different than photography, but kind of similar thing where you're looking for these moments, you're looking for these angles and stuff. And I think there is something about being a former player, one where you kind of know where to place the camera and maybe where the action's going to be, where the ball's going to be, or where to put the focus on. And then two, you can really appreciate the beautiful moments of the sport. And if you're really into that, I think it's kind of a great transition for athletes, because they do bring that passion and expertise to it. So I really like seeing that. It's pretty cool. What were you say?
Well, I was going to say it's a way for them to still remain a part of the game. It's because you always hear about the horror stories of people once they're done or they're retired or told to retire, any of those combinations, their life falling apart because they have to find themselves again and find another purpose. Who are they? What are they going to do? So on and so forth. Hopefully, they direct it toward family if they have it and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's more difficult than that because a lot of people conflate themselves with what they do and their job and their profession.
Did you have that when you stopped playing football?
Yeah, I think mine was a little more drawn out though, because, as I've said on the show before, it was more like I was told this is probably not a future endeavor for myself. You went through the mental battles and you fight as hard as you possibly can. That's not to say that you give up, but you see, hey, okay, there may be other levers I can pull in this life that aren't just focused on sports. So there was definitely a matter of that, but it happened more toward the back end of my college career to where I could kind of do what other college kids are usually doing and trying to figure out their future during those 4 years. I was able to do it at least in the last year and a half and try and figure that out. But it's very real, man. It's like shaking. It shakes you to the core because as we've grown up, you and I and Mikey himself, like we grew up playing ball, playing sports since as far as we can remember. And that's who we were. It was athlete, right? And then student, and then a person, it was like athlete was who we were. And then once you get that ripped away, it's kind of like, dang, man, what's going on with life?
It is serious, dude. And I was lucky enough to be able to slowly have a transition. I started doing media stuff during the tail end of my football career, but then still, even though I would say I had as smooth a transition as you possibly could have. And I still was like, yo, who am I? I'm not a football player anymore. What? It is tough, especially when it's so wrapped up in your identity, but you do have to find something else. For a guy like these guys that played so long and were just so prolific in their careers, I think it's kind of cool and beautiful to see them getting into that role. Who knows?
Well, who knows how good they are at it, but at least they've chosen a new craft that they're trying to hone.
Good at it, dude. You saw his
photo?
Is.
He is very good. And so is Randy. I mean, Randy's legit, man. It's funny because I when I was working in more of the corporate world, call it probably a decade ago in the finance world, I had a boss, a manager who was on a flight. And I remember him kind of talking about, he was a big sports guy, never really played it. He wasn't an athlete, but he was one of those guys that was obsessed with sports. And he was like, yeah, guess who was on my flight the other day? It was Randy Johnson. And this dude, he was just sitting in coach, obviously scrunched up by the window, but he was sitting out there. We're flying over a city. I forget which it was. I think it was Chicago, flying into Chicago. And he was taking pictures out of the window. And I was like, dude, come on, man. You're like a professional athlete. Have you never seen a skyline before? Have you never seen any of that? And now it all makes sense. I'm like, oh, Randy was honing his crafts there. He clearly had a love for capturing moments and capturing beauty in a single frame. And that's what he was doing. It wasn't so I always think about my manager when he said that, and I wonder what he's feeling now that Randy is a legitimate professional photographer now. And he's like,
that is dope. Also hilarious because isn't Randy Johnson 6'7"?
Yeah,
he's really tall. Like, brother, I bet you could afford first class on a domestic flight. I think it's fine. I think you could swing it. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So I thought that was cool. And I was gonna say, who knows if Marshawn's actually pursuing this or if this is just a random side quest? Because he likes to do just a bunch of stuff, but he's entertaining, and that was pretty cool. Dude, we have this from that game. Was it from that game? The tie. It was this game. Yeah. And it's okay. I understand we've got this in the regular season and the preseason that NFL games can end in ties. I am personally so against this. This is ties are for Europe, dude. In America, we declare a winner and a loser, even in the regular season. Preseason, okay, fine. But the fact is that this is also if they did one overtime, this would still end in a tie. So I know in preseason they do no overtimes, but you can get a tie in regular season if the overtime goes and there's no change in points there. So what do you make of us allowing ties in football?
Yeah, this is probably more acceptable, it happening in preseason, but it's infuriating to the points that you were just making. It's just, we got to stop there being an opportunity for professional sports leagues to end in ties. When each game, especially in the game of football, in the NFL, when each game is so important, we cannot be having these ties. It just adds to the... It adds to the confusion. It's not interesting for the fans. Nobody likes this in the States. Nobody nobody has ever liked that. And that's probably a reason why soccer sometimes falls by the wayside. NHL fixed this too. And like, they're not doing ties as much anymore. And like, there's something to the American fan not wanting to see competition ending in a draw, right? Unless there's massive injury. So if you're talking about fights and all that kind of stuff and some guy breaks a leg, somebody still ends up winning.
Dude, this is the thing. That's why I'm kind of joking when I say it's so European, but also it's kind of not a joke, because in Europe, everyone's kind of pushed to the middle and everyone's kind of just like, hey, everyone's sort of a winner. All right. No one, or everyone's sort of the same. You all have the same score. Whereas in the States, it's like, hey, you can win or you can lose, sink or swim, but we don't allow ties. You have a chance to win. You make yourself win. And so I just think with America, with the NFL being so representative of the United States of America, I am anti-tie, and I don't think I will ever be pro-tie.
Yeah, and there's if you're really trying to grow into the European market, right? I always hear it from Europeans. Tell me if I'm wrong here, because you're actually out there living there. But a lot of Europeans don't love American football because of the slow, methodical nature, like the start, stop. Like that's always been jarring for them, right?
Yeah.
If you add this to that, I mean, it may be catering to the Europeans because they're used to ties, but I don't think it's good for the game. Like, you got to have winners. Preseason, let's end in like a crossbar competition with the quarterbacks. If you could, first guy to hit the crossbar from 40 yards out, winner. That's what we should do, like a shootout or something like that, as opposed to, if you're really worried about injuries, doing a whole nother series or first to score, or the college rules of overtime where you're at the 20 and so on and so forth, or the old college rules. So I think that would be a better fix than just going in a tie. This is it's anti-American.
It's very anti-American. Hey, speaking of this, and like, because the thing you said about like Europeans not like their criticism of football being like the start, stop. What do you think? I heard this theory that the reason that football has gotten has exploded more than every other sport in the United States. And this also goes back to what we were talking about. There's that viral tweet a couple of weeks ago that said football is the best sport to watch on TV and the worst sport to watch in person. And something about the nature of football that makes the television experience so great. It's like part of it is that start, stop, because you get so much room for commentary, replays, analysis, and it really makes it like an engaging TV product. Do you, and that is also America. I was just having a conversation with a bunch of Europeans, like, we're television focused in America. We like TV. We have TVs in our rooms. We like to watch TV shows. We consume television products. I think more than, for sure, more than most Europeans. What do you think of that theory, that the nature of football and why it became so popular also in the States and not so much in other countries is because it is so great for television? What do you think?
Ooh. I think both those phenomena happened at the same time, right? It's like the NFL benefited because that was a budding cultural change in the country, and things have gotten so good in the United States that is the lifestyle we live. We just want to be entertained. We want the bread and circuses sort of thing. And it's like, that's probably a little more damning and telling of the American culture than anything else. But the game of football, what I love about it is its physicality. That still remains, even though we've dialed it back a little bit over the past decade and a half, and so on and so forth. But like, I think that's interesting because we have had it so well that we're so glued to escapism and cheap escapism at that. Because I love sports and everything like that, but it is an element of pure entertainment.
Yes, for sure. I mean, there's some really good, valuable life lessons also that come from sports, mostly from playing them, I would say. But watching them is a form of entertainment. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting because I'm trying to figure out why it's not so, it is getting more popular here in Europe, but it is still niche. So I'm trying to wrestle with this and come to terms. My goal is to expand football globally. I always say it's one of America's greatest exports, and I want it to dominate the whole world.
I agree with you, man. I think the world needs to play it for exactly the reasons you're talking about right there. The lessons that you can glean from it are only if you experience it. You can get some by watching, and in the same way that you can get some lessons from movies and shows and stories and all that kind of stuff. You can glean those so long as you're focused on gleaning them and want to digest them. You can do the same with football, but if you're living in it completely different experience. And I think more people need to experience it throughout the world.
Yeah. And they need to experience American football royalty. Speaking of which, that's a great transition, huh?
Nice.
American football royalty. And I'm talking, of course, about the Manning family. So this is interesting. We've been talking about all these new rookies starting playing the preseason games and all this. There's all this hype around Archie Manning being the starting quarterback at Texas, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's gonna be the number 1 pick next year." Well, Archie Manning says that his grandson Arch will not declare for the 2026 NFL draft. He says Arch isn't going to do that. He'll be at Texas. Now I know, and what we've both said, let's pump the brakes on all the Arch Manning stuff. Like, it is kind of crazy that we're saying he's going to be the number 1 pick, dude. Okay, but he played in a couple games last year. I think we can slow down a little bit on that.
Yeah.
But I also think, okay, how do you know? Archie, how do you know? What if he does go off and win the national championship and is in the Heisman conversation and is set to clearly be the number 1 pick? Do you think he's going to stay at Texas then? What do you make of this coming from the legendary grandpa?
Look, the Manning family, outside of, well, at least now, outside of the Eli situation with the Chargers and trading to the Giants or demanding a trade to the Giants, all that kind of stuff, they are as squeaky clean as you can possibly do. They do everything by the books. They say all the right things. They do all the right things. They succeed after having done both of those other things. Like, they win, and they have such a pedigree that you're right. They are true American NFL royalty here. I think this is a statement that you have to say in the moment. Granted, everything he's done to this point, everything that Arch has done to this point, being the name that he is, choosing to remain at Texas, to develop, to sit behind Quinn for a year or two and develop as a player and wait for his opportunity, knowing that you have not made it yet. Even with a name like that, you know that you as an individual haven't earned that success. So if this is true, I'm absolutely for it, and I absolutely love it. And let's be real. He's going to be making millions if he stays for these 2 years. So that is an added cushion there of protection. And also, it protects him in terms of the development and cognitive development of the game and how he's going to approach it, because you don't want to go into a situation at a terrible organization where you're still learning the game at a deeper level. Like, you want to master the college game before you ever step foot onto the NFL field. So I think this makes a whole lot of sense. Even if it does just feel like lip service, I think it's actually real.
I like what you said there. You want to master the college game before you enter the NFL, because we're seeing a lot of guys who are like, "Oh, I have one good college season, time to go." Yeah. It's like, hey, can you stack that? Can you do it again? Is it a consistent thing, or was it a fluky season? Johnny Manziel had a good college season, granted too, but it's just like, yeah, there is something to that, and he's going to be making a lot of money no matter what there.
Yeah.
You're right. Also, I really admire the way, like, he did an interview. I don't remember when it was, but he came across really well, dude, talking about choosing to stay at Texas when he was not going to be the starter, being Quinn's backup. I also think that one of the reasons that he chose Texas is because the school's in Austin. Like, he knows he's such a high profile guy because of his family and because of his name. It's like, he didn't want to be a distraction. Like, if he's in a small town, college town, that could be a big distraction. A lot of stuff going on in Austin. You can maybe blend in a little bit more there. So far, I really, really like the way that he's handled this spotlight, and even poked fun at himself with, like, I don't really deserve this spotlight. I haven't really done anything yet. Yeah. I think he's very self-aware. Yes, self-aware.
At least on the surface, as humble as you could be with a name like that in a family like that. Yeah. That's such an important part about being a leader too. Is coming in, because some of the guys, when he came in as a freshman, some of the guys on the team probably loved the fact that he was there because it would give them exposure to the media. Not that they wouldn't beforehand, but it's like another level. But there are some guys that there was some probably jealousy at the initial onset. Who is this kid? Who does he think he is? Before they ever got to know him, but probably once they got to know him, they're like, oh, this guy's legit. He's a good dude.
Yeah. They also, did you see? I think it was a Dr. Pepper commercial, but it was with Quinn Ewers. And it was also poking. Did you see this? It was poking fun at, like, Arch Manning being the backup. I don't remember what it was. Quinn Ewers something, and then he says, "Well," some guy comes up and he goes, "I don't need a backup." Who I don't, something like that. I've absolutely butchered it. But both Quinn Ewers also in that situation, good sport. Both of them very self-aware. And it worked out great last year how Ewers got hurt for a couple of games. Arch stepped in, did a good job. Yeah. And then the job went back to Quinn Ewers, and now Quinn Ewers is off. And who did he get drafted by?
Dolphins. He's at Dolphins.
The Dolphins? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did. Okay. Yeah. He's got cool man Mike McDaniel coaching him.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? What's up,
Well,
bro?
you know, Mike McDaniel he absolutely loves accurate quarterbacks, and that's what Quinn is showing right now. Apparently, all the rumors out of there is like everybody's surprised, which kind of sucks for Quinn because it's like, wait a minute, you didn't expect this from me? I placed the ball in right spots.
Better to exceed expectations, dude. That comes back to my philosophy of look bad, play good. Okay, you want them to underestimate you.
Yeah.
So there you go, Quinn Ewers. Okay, we got the Browns tonight. Shedeur Sanders being put in a bad situation. No, I think we'll see. Let's see how he does tonight. Big day for you, Scott.
Dude, he's been at camp. He's been at OTAs. He knows the coaches. He knows the playbook. This isn't throwing him into the deep end and seeing if he sinks or swim. Like, he's been there. Yes, he's been injured, so he may not have gotten the reps with the ones as much as he possibly could have. But at the end of the day, it is a moment for him to shine. It's an opportunity for him to shine. So I hope he takes it. I hope he does well. But time will tell.
I'm wishing you guys the best, Scott. You poor Browns fans. I don't know how much more you guys can take. So I hope it goes well tonight. Okay. Good luck. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.